Hello there, beloved Ascension pioneers, and welcome to this video where I wish to share more on soul alignment and what does it mean and what does it really mean to be infused with the light of the Holy Spirit. So recently I began with a new project, and I've been talking about this before, and this project, this whole message is from Holy Spirit. So Holy Spirit is this life force that moves through all life and creation. So instead of just thinking in terms of source, when we are infused with the knowing and remembrance of Holy Spirit, our lives begin to be infused with this pure light. And it's something so simple that you can reference as when you see someone, when you see certain individuals and they feel lifeless, or other individuals feel very full of life, very invigorated, and so full of passion for devotion to life, to service. And when this is so, we really are touched with the light of the Holy Spirit, because the light of the Holy Spirit is that which we serve when we really begin to remember who we are as a luminary, as a being of luminescent light who just serves this light of Holy Spirit that constantly moves things. Like when you say, how are all the stars held together so perfectly, so magically? Well, this is the grace of Holy Spirit, and our lives are so beautifully intertwined, and we're all so magically interconnected. So the more that we open up to this trust to life, more grace enters our life, and this grace, this natural state, really creates this flow so we can be open to Holy Spirit. And I don't know if I've shared this with you before, but the beings of the Great White Brotherhood are the collective luminaries who serve Holy Spirit. So they serve this breath of life in creation, and they serve all life forms to evolve. So they're not self-service oriented, they're service oriented towards all life in creation. And when we start to activate this potential within us, this means that we're starting to feel life is just something so amazing, so beautiful, and this force constantly flows through us. So on my path, as I've been living my life and remembering who I am and what I am, basically, I remember once I asked this question. I asked, well, what am I, in terms of my originality in creation? And there was this knowledge just coming right away before even thinking. It was the giver of life. And I thought, wow, this is connected with the sacred breath of life in the Holy Spirit. So more and more my mission began to take note in this direction of Holy Spirit, until the point that I really felt guided and called to deliver those messages of Holy Spirit, to kind of reinvigorate this life force within humans who are ascending yet again. And because so many people, even in the spiritual circles and communities, very often they live vertically. Their horizontal lives are not as awakened, they're not as full of life. So you have beings now that are shifting in this reality that we're co-creating together, and they're asking themselves, what is my purpose? I love what I'm doing, but I don't feel so alive when I'm doing it. So this path of feeling alive, I'm sure all of you had relationships that, they activated something within you and you felt, wow, this is magical, or I feel so alive when I'm spending my time with this person, or I feel so alive when I'm doing this or creating this. And this is the touch of the Holy Spirit. In that moment, you were able to feel the essence of Holy Spirit moving through you. It might have occurred through a mirroring within a certain relationship, and that mirroring caused a deep yearning within you to embody more of that life force. So that divine love is the product, so it's basically all one, of that life force of Holy Spirit. So I've already recorded the first message, and it's called Holy Spirit Introduction, where the Holy Spirit, which is not a being, it's not a person, it's just this life force that kind of comprises everything, it enriches everything, it makes everything be as alive as it is, and it constantly is evolving as well. So through all of us who are awakened to more luminous presence within us and to create and generate more life, that's when those of us who are birthed through Holy Spirit, in terms of being a channel for Holy Spirit, we can produce so much. In terms of other people can't always understand, how can you do so much? And you're like, it's not even me, it's Spirit. And that's how we feel when we can hold those moments, when we can exist in those levels of being. And a lot of times we feel we're not on those levels. So how to cultivate that, how to maintain this, is that activation of just allowing ourselves to be this pure conduit. And everyone can become a pure conduit of Holy Spirit. It's not something that someone is an incarnation of, like falsely some people say they are, which is a mistaken belief that is not coming within the light of understanding of the truth of what Holy Spirit is. So the first introduction that Holy Spirit shared through me, and this is just the life force that we can't always imagine. the first message did share this on this note, and it's available on my Serapina Light page under Spirit Attunements, so you can find it there, and I've announced it in my newsletter, and it's on my Facebook page as well. And I'll be recording these messages as frequently as Spirit guides me. So with me, it's always like a nudge, it's a feeling. And sometimes people ask me, how do I know what I'm doing? How do I always just get this so simply? Because many people are still asking themselves, what are they supposed to do next, you know? And it's a part of the journey. But for me, where I am now, and what I've been for a while now, it's just, I just sit, I just ponder, I just enjoy nature, I embrace life. Life embraces me, and sometimes I even see far ahead what I'm going to be doing. I don't necessarily receive steps in a linear direction, so sometimes I might perceive I might do something and then something comes out of it, and it will evolve a bit differently, it will revolve a bit differently, but still the life force of pure spirit runs through all these creations, and it just creates this invigorating feeling to be alive, to share, to be so passionate about what I'm doing. And then in the meantime, I get to inspire you, so you remember the very essence of Holy Spirit and how it may serve you, because Source is something that we can never fully attain and understand, but we can all become pure conduits of the light of Holy Spirit in our own way. So how we conduct it, how we bring it in through our individualization, through creation, into all that we do, all that we create and generate with our unique essence. It's just so beautiful because it's so diverse. You know, I've been talking about variation of creation all the time in my videos, and this is a part of this. So it's time to embrace the light of Holy Spirit back into our lives. Just allow this alchemy of being touched by this sacred breath of life, and this is this white light of the mother flame in creation, and it's what my whole Serapina Light page is all about. It's dedicated to Holy Spirit and to the great divine mother, the birthing of all life forms, and honoring and respecting all those life forms. So when you become this pure channel of Holy Spirit, your life is just it's almost like a mirror for others. It's a reflection, and others will usually see within you what they want to see. Sometimes it's what they project that they want to see, but you're just a mirror. It's like spirit running through you, and they perceive it as they do. But basically, you're meant to live your life as an inspiration of that spirit life force, and how much you can conduct it in a human form, because the human form was developed to discover itself in this way. The universes were developed for intentional purposes of growth and expansion, as in this vessel. So our humanity is not a byproduct of something that is just extra thing. It was never meant to be. It was an intentional creation, and it was meant for us to experience bliss and pleasure and being invigorated when we embrace the light of Holy Spirit in this path. Yet again, it does require conscious devotion, because just to say you want something is not the same as you allowing yourself to become this template, to become this vessel. Because I see many beings that want many things, but they're not ready yet to embody them. So it's not something you take, it's something you allow Spirit to transform you into. It's very simple. It just requires constant surrendering. And it's not all about the law of attraction and manifestation, because this takes place through Spirit. It's not always what you want to manifest. It's a greater plan that Spirit has for you when you just allow it. And yet it still will be sovereign. It doesn't take your sovereignty away, it doesn't take your individuality away. You still have a sense of that, and you always do, because you're always a fragment in creation that's diverse, that's unique. Even when you're blending with greater realities and versions of yourself, it still is that way. You still feel that spark of your divine nature. So this is something I'll be doing. I will also now be taking a holiday, going to retreat a bit to the seaside, because this is what I received in the dream time a while ago, that this is where the next chapter begins, and I'm guided to go there. I want to write some devotional music backgrounds for the 12 theme songs within my angelic music of celestial realms that are already recorded back in the spring. So this does require some of the effort on my part, and this is something that I need some requirements, and how I'm guided by Spirit. So I'll be away for a while, and I also will be recording the next Advanced Mastery Course class, which will be for those of you who are interested in moving deeper, because it will take you on a journey of understanding devotional relationships more, the whole structure of enlightened relationships, and a greater group soul complex level, while also understanding your soul lineage, knowing the types of groups you belong to and feel very great affinity with, such as the Elohim, the Melchizedek, what I'm talking about, the Seraphim, There are certain priesthoods, certain beings of light, like galactic beings, also the Great White Brotherhood, and all of this will be shared in this advanced course. It's going to be very in-depth, so I'll be doing preparational writings for that course. I think it will be available this month already, so stay tuned for that. But also, before I wrap this video up, I want to share something about those beings who are now really feeling this transformative times, because there's a lot of beings that I connect to now that they feel almost like they've arrived into this new space, this newfound space of fully really feeling who they are on higher levels, but they're not still knowing exactly how to bring that forth in their physical human bodies, what their path should look like in the near future. And a lot of them might feel the society wants something from them, and yet they feel they cannot do that. They can no longer please what the society wants. They want to live their own path, because I still see people who are telling me, okay, I'm an engineer in this lifetime, I'm a musician, I don't know, I'm this and that. And there's just so many of these things we associate with, and yet our new self, when we move into this fifth dimensional template of living, of existence, as we're moving through the threshold of the fourth, which is just a passageway, because this will collapse when it's no longer needed as the bridge between the third and fifth dimensions. So this means that within that, when you go through the fourth, you start seeing those different opportunities and potentials, and then you need to choose. But you don't choose like limiting yourselves yet again with these labels, but you choose within the factual reality of your multidimensional self. And when you do so, there's many different parts of you that you will associate with. So I'm going to give you one example. You know, there's beings who say, I am an Arcturian, I am a Pleiadian, I am a Sirian. So basically, it's never done linear. It's never just one thing. It's just maybe on that part of your journey you're associating with a certain frequency that you are incorporating into your wholeness, your holistic self. But it's never a one-sided journey. It doesn't end there. So in this mastery course, my intention will be to kind of bring you to the culmination and completion of this group complex, to embrace all parts of you, to return to your multidimensional nature, because the first 7 courses were about your sovereign duality until the level 7th, which is your own soul, and then moving deeper into the oversoul complex, and then seeing which groups you are involved with, which lineages, and how this is beneficial for your journey here and now, because that's the point. We're meant to have a purpose right here and now. Many old dogmas and traditions were teaching us we need to ascend and go to heaven, and that's only when our purpose begins, or only when you reach that nirvana. That nirvana is here, you know? And this is the inner planes, like Shambhala, are just spaces that they are a template for what we can create here on our human level as well. So this is why I work with this, through this essence, or what works through me, better say it like this, of the Holy Spirit, that, you know, we can just infuse life with so much more. And when we do that, we fuse our energies with something much greater, and then it transcends, it descends, pardon me, into our physical vehicles. It's not only about transcendence, because we do transcend certain levels, but then we also integrate that and bring it back into wholeness. So it's ascension, descension, transcendence, all of these facts that are coming together in this one unity field. So when these individuals who are now awakening to that something much greater, now feeling sometimes this empty void, you know, all I can say to you are these few facts. First of all, this is just temporary. This too shall pass. It's just a stage you're moving through. You don't have to be afraid of, oh, what's coming up next? I'm worried. I don't know. I love my job, but I don't love it as much. So what am I going to do? You know, we are moving from this conditioned template. Let's say in the third dimension, we had roles like I'm an engineer, I'm an analytic, I'm a writer, I'm this and that. And then through the fourth, you're moving and you're seeing all these different mirrors and potential. So that's where a lot of relationships come to reflect that to you, so you can activate those different parts of you. When you move into the fifth, you move into your purpose that is more refined. It's more of the nature of how the light moves through you, and it no longer has one specific. You know, like my mother used to be a kindergarten teacher, and she was with children, and on a certain level she needed to release that. And then she also activated her artist and her channeler and her wise, sage, ancient woman self. And as she did that, only when she dropped that on all those labels, she was able to move into her deeper purpose and the recognition of herself in this fifth dimensional template that the planet is set out to move into. So we are, those of us who are choosing to move there, we are needing to make this internal shift, the soul alignment within ourselves first, because soul alignment is not just you align with something vertically, but then the horizontal part, you never change. You never change your old relationships. You never make one step in the new because you're afraid of the unknown. You like things to stay the same. And I've met this in people, this fear and this almost like this restriction that they self-impose, and sometimes this fear that things won't end up well, or just all these things and assessments that you just conclude in yourself because of something you've known in the past. But it really requires a full surrender and activating this Holy Spirit life force within us, which is this force that it's such magnitude that sometimes you don't know where all this life force energy will come through you and the things it will create. It's not even you anymore, as you say, it's from spirit to spirit that we begin to interact and flow through. So this is the first thing, is don't take it as a general thing. Sometimes people make an association that's like, I feel bad now in this moment, so I'm assuming, oh, it's always going to be like this. Don't make these assumptions, because this is a transition you're moving through. And there's many transitions, steps of transitions that you take within an overall transition, because you can just take the whole leap of one huge transition from one to the next. It's a gradual performance process. So that's why you will have many death and rebirths in the course of one ascending lifetime. So the second I could say is just allow yourself to be. If you're not feeling guided to do anything within this transition, just don't do it. Just let it be. Sometimes we force action upon ourselves because we think it's necessary, or because it's spiritual that we do it like this, or we need to be activists. And the only real activist you need to be is towards yourself. Your soul alignment requires for you to refine your inner self and then to align your physical choices, because they will determine your reality through those inner alignments. So let's say you say, I'm inwardly like this, but on the outside I'm choosing a different reality that doesn't fit anymore, because you're the one moving yourself to this new template. Means your lifestyle reality needs to shift to that level as well, and it does naturally when you make those choices. And the third thing I could say is just, you will know when the movement, the action would come. You would know what to do. The right people would against her to come. If there's not such thing, happening yet, it means maybe it's not time yet. Maybe you're still integrating. Now Venus moved direct, which it will be a time for a while now for us to integrate all those changes we have received during the summer, which is a lot. It's a whole lot. We've received so much encoding, and now we're going to have to wait this out, especially because the last tetrad of the eclipses is coming this September. We have the last of the 4 eclipses that came in these pairings, and it's going to be really time to integrate. So the soul alignment we're called to requires our dedication, and dedication sometimes means also waiting it out, being patient towards yourself, self-nurture, acceptance of things that they are. If something does come on your path, on the other hand, and you weren't expecting it to come this way, then maybe expand your perception. Maybe if the thing is there in your life, it is for a reason. Maybe you haven't discovered that reason yet, but ask your soul alignment. How does this align with my reality through the essence of something that's bringing me? Not like how things look on the outside. Let's say you have a relationship, you can't fully understand it yet. It's not the perfect thing you really wanted for yourself or you want to create, but it has something. It's a stepping stone. It has important factors that your soul within its alignment towards the new needs to activate. So stay with that. Really stay with that instead of projecting too much in the future, too much far out what it's going to be. These assumptions are very detrimental for alignments, and they're not really helping us. So for all those of you who are really feeling these major changes, know that you're not alone. We're all feeling them to a certain degree, to a certain extent. The more you feel them probably means the more you're expanding. So again, it's not about comparison and who's further out ahead. In the overall collective, within the White Brotherhood, where we're all invited, we participate in that unity field when we really serve the light of Holy Spirit. There is no comparison. There is no who's the teacher of whom. They're all the same positioning, different structures, different divine nature of origin and purpose, but yet the same life paths, which is to be divine love and to serve Holy Spirit within oneness, all the life forms, all the diversity of creation. And just know that there's always someone to reach out to and to share, and maybe that sharing will bring you a new clue how to move your soul alignment further out. So until further ado, I'll be taking this short holiday. Again, my holidays are not really typical holidays because I do work on my creations, so they're very co-creative holidays. this is how it is in the new. You can't, you know, say I'm pausing my creations because they're flowing, you know, your life force never stops. So maybe sometimes the life force will be more extreme than others. You know, the visual that Spirit gave me is most people, most individuals who are infused with the light of Holy Spirit very intensely, they, you know, because most people, how they function, they live a bit like this, you know, constant fluctuations, but when the same ratio. But the beings who are really infused by their light, and I always like to say for myself that I function within the energy of 111%. It's because I'm always on top of it. And then it feels more like this. So when you fall a bit, when you integrate, it will feel more, you know, it won't feel like this. This feels like safe, yeah? No, most people do it like this. But with the ascending beings who are really inviting the life force, it's going to feel and downwards, more like extremes will be felt. But this does serve a purpose, and you will know it when you move on this path. You will understand it more deeply. So maybe that's why certain times you will feel so invigorated, certain times you won't. This doesn't mean now you're lacking your energy or you're not aligned with the force of Holy Spirit. It just means that now you're moving through this stage of your journey. So this is what I was guided to share today. Do check the Holy Spirit messages out because they're amazing. I also have a short introduction on my page, so you can find it on the right side and under Light Activations, that's called Being an Ascension Pioneer, and it's a call to all Ascension Pioneers and how they really serve within their uniqueness and just by being themselves. It's free. It's a free video. Just look and listen to it. This was something that my soul really called me to do last week. So I hope you enjoy it. I will see you soon. As always, so much love, wisdom, and power. I'll talk to you soon. And stay on the lookout for my new projects, and especially the Advanced Level Mastery course. I love you all so much. Take care. Bye-bye.